Welcome, fight fans,
to the Fighters Voice Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk Authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Voice
Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California, we're live here in Mad Production Studios. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. Alongside me is my co-host with the most, the UFC veteran himself, Mr. Cole Escovedo. What's happening, Cole?
What's up, amigo?
Man, hey, these mics are working a little too good today. I mean, you can kind of hear what's going on next door and what have you.
You know, it's extra.
Extraterrestrial? Is that how you say it, right?
It's just extra.
No, extra. It's just extra.
It's just extra.
It's just, you get what you pay for, man. And they're working too good.
Yeah.
I can hear your heartbeat, bro.
Like, I've got this gas pedal on my car that, like, I had to have my guy look at it because every time I let up the gas pedal, it would, like, you could feel it throttle down. And I was like, dude, should it be doing it that much?
Kind of chuck your neck a little bit?
Not so much, but enough to you notice it. And he was like, no, it's just doing its job. It just does its job really well. It's a throttle decelerator. When you let up the gas, it's supposed to, like, slow you down right away. And I was like, okay.
No, you know what I noticed? Is that Bigfoot on your shirt with the soda
dude,
can?
that's fucking Sasquatch, yo.
That's Sasquatch.
With the Solo. My son used to have a matching one that was blue.
Oh, did he?
But it had a bear on it, like a grizzly
but
bear.
you know what they call it a myth. A myth. They're not sure if it's real. I kind of believe in it, but I can tell you one thing that is real. What's real is our guest today, man. I mean, this guy is a living, a breathing, a legend, man. And when I say the man, the myth, the legend, I really believe that. You know that cornerstone of the rock where you have all the presidents right there, right? When they have the Angelo Dundees and when they have the Emmanuel Stewarts, they're gonna carve the face, the head of the one and only from Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, and that's our guest. That's Mr. Robert Garcia. Welcome to the show, Robert. How we doing, my man?
Hey, bro, thanks for having me, my man. Thanks for that introduction. That was awesome, bro.
Hey, man, I was for one of the best trainers ever to just, hand wrap some people there and put the mouthpiece in and give the instruction, the game plan and everything. And I like the fact that you said, hey, Rich, I just got done working mitts with Mikey, which he's one of the topics we're going to be talking about on the show today, man. And let me introduce you to Cole Escovedo, my co-host, man, the UFC veteran himself.
Awesome.
What's going on, Rob? How's training been, man? It's been busy, it sounds like, when you're hitting mad, man.
Everything's good, man. You know, we get one fight out of the way, and then we go to the next. You know, we have so many fighters fighting in the next few weeks that we're very busy.
I imagine you'd be very busy. Everybody's trying to put on shows right now, like, as many as possible, like, back-to-back, same week. It's insane.
Let me give you an example. Robert's to the point, but he's being humble, man. You know, you go to that one grocery store, I mean, everything's there. Everybody wants to go to that grocery store, man. I mean, they got the best food. They got the best carne there. They got the coldest cerveza there. That's the way it is at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy. I mean, there is a line of fighters.
People trying to get in.
That like auditioning. I mean, Robert will be going to put gas or a grocery store, and a guy starts shadow boxing right in front of him. I mean, it's like giving a demo tape. Right, Robert? You already know that. It's like giving a demo tape like to all these rap artists and say, you got to hear me, man. You got to hear me, man. I mean, Robert will be putting gas, and you'll see a guy doing head movement like Mike Tyson.
I mean, okay, well, what do you do, though? Like, if you're Rob, do you just ignore that? Or do you, like, actually look and go, okay, well, wait a minute. What's your name? You know, like, do you ignore that kind of stuff? No, dude, especially if they recognize you, like, enough on the street to go, oh, fuck this. Open their trunk, start trying to get the raps out, and she'd be like, hold on. Just fill up your tank. I'll pay for it. Hold on. You know, that you can't ignore. Like, you'd have to actually go, okay, dude, what's up?
Robert, we get to see all the trophies that you got in there. When I say trophies, I'm talking about these warriors, these fighters, man. But how difficult, how hard is when you have to not turn your back on them, but you just got to be realistic with them and say, you know what, not at this time. I mean, how tough is that for you?
Yeah, but you know what? It's not really a situation that I have to live with. You know, if my fighters. If any fighter that wants my service, and look, I'm picking up guys that are making their pro debuts. That, you know, I get calls from managers that tell me, you know, they would like the fighter to train with me, and I give them a chance. You know, I've always given them a chance. I'm not gonna reject anybody. You know, the ones that the few occasions that I've had to reject a fighter is maybe a world class fighter that might want me to go do training camp in Florida with him. Then I'm when it was in Oxnard, it was in Oxnard. Right now it's in Riverside. So if they want my services, it's got to be in Riverside. So any young fighter that's turning pro, if I get a call from a manager saying that they want their fighter to train with me, I'm gonna give them a chance, and I'm gonna bring them into my training camp and give them a chance because everybody deserves a chance. If it doesn't do it in Riverside, then I'm more than happy to take anybody.
Hey, exactly. It's a stable, and you even increased the size. I mean, the last time I went there, I mean, there's a whole new room in there. There's a whole new stable on the other side. I noticed that you did some refurbishing and some growth there.
No, we have to. My team is growing. I have a lot of fighters. I have a really good team with my son and Khetphet, Charles Tremblay being part of the team now, and it's just growing and growing and getting better and better.
Yes, it is, and big shout out to Charles Tremblay from Fresno, California. I had a conversation with him last week, and he was very, very appreciative of being with Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy.
Well, no, he's from Fresno, but he's now my neighbor. He lives in the same he lives in the same town where I live in Menifee, California.
There you go, man. He made the career move, and you accepted him, you embraced him, and you already know, man. He's familia. He's tortillas and Modelo and everything, bro.
And he's part of the team now. He's great at what he does. From what I've seen, his work with Jose, and now with Virgil Ortiz, Joshua Franco, who just became champion. His work is unbelievable. So I'm very blessed to have him in my team.
When you put a team together, Cole, it's always great to bring the best around you. From someone with the hand wraps, from someone coaching, speed and agility, from the cook, from even the mental aspect of the sport, man. And Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, they're a very balanced, organized machine, man.
Yeah, and it's just
Exactly.
it's not so much a delegation of duties as it is you can do 5 things as a coach or you can do one thing as the coach really fucking well.
Yeah.
Then you got a guy that can just wrap hands. Then, like when you start out, you got to be 5 guys. I'm sure Rob here remembers being, when he started out, he was the hand wrapper, he was the water guy, he was the bucket guy. Everything in one coach, and then as that starts to grow and the fighters start to grow and the need from the fighters starts to grow, now you got to start going, okay, I can do pads with my guy. I can't get him wrapped and everything. I'm doing pads with somebody else already. I got to have a guy that can wrap my guys. You got to have like a Stitch Duran. You got to have like a Jacob Duran come in your team and just be like, look, this is what I need from you. I'll pay you X amount of dollars to wrap hands for this like 3-hour window.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I will say this about Robert. Robert, you said it many times, and a lot of people do say this in life. I wish I could be at 2 or 3 places all at once. And see, talking about being cloned, when you got Khetphet and when you got Beats out there working, I mean, their knowledge for the sport, man. I mean, they didn't fall too far from the tree. And Khetphet just being there, and he's a sponge every time I see him in there, man. I mean, when you're not there literally in the corner, the trust and the know-how these 2 guys got, and they fill the gap and then some. Is that safe to say, Robert?
Look, bro, it's perfect. That's a perfect to say that. Look, perfect example. A couple of weeks ago, I couldn't travel to the East Coast, and with Jackson Mariñez.
Yes.
He fought on Showtime against Romero, and it didn't go our way. But what Khetphet did in the corner, and all the comments that he got from boxing people, that everybody was talking about how good of instructions he was giving during the minute breaks. My team's prepared. They're ready. If they need to wrap hands, they know how to wrap hands very well. They know how to move to the corner. I've even taught them how to do a little bit of cut, if they need a cutman. Sometimes it's hard to find a cutman, So when you travel by yourself, so they're prepared. They have the medicine, they have everything in case a cut happens. They're ready. Khetphet has been doing a lot of fights by himself, and Pita has gone by himself, and I'm telling you, that's a team. Other trainers can't do that. Other trainers have a certain amount of fighters because they can't have more because they don't have assistants like I do. My guys are ready to go by themselves to work a title fight if they have to.
And you know what? He's telling the truth. I mean, everybody in there is badass, bro. I mean, there's one way, and it's the way of winning. It's the way of adapting. I mean, the trust, everybody's on the same page. They're very experienced. And when you're literally in the corner, so sort of say, your back's against the wall, they have the proper instructions.
Yeah, it's like a management team.
You know what the good thing about it is, bro, Richard, that even the fighters are all also very, very aware that if I cannot make it and Peter's the one taking over that corner, they're happy because they know my Peter's gonna do a really good job. Or Khetphet, if I'm not able to go and Khetphet is the one that I need to send over, they don't have a problem because they know that they're prepared and they know what to do. You know, Jose Ramirez, a world title defense, very, very difficult, important fight. We were very close. You know that if I had one false test during the whole week, I wouldn't be able to work his corner. Jose knew that if that happened, it was going to be Khetphet working the corner, and he would have fought the same way. Why? Because he knows that Khetphet's prepared also.
Actually, you know what? Exactly right. And, you know, we're going to comment. We're going to talk more about that. And we got a surprise guest coming on. And we're going to go more into detail. And we're going to relive that later on. But what I do want to talk about later, and you know, big shout out to Ali Setback signing this contract or getting together with somebody. Now, some of his videos and what have you, you got to subscribe now. And there's a small little fee. But you're getting the best out there. I truly believe he is, if not one of the best, the GOAT, I call him, when it comes to social media. I was listening to one of his videos, Robert, and check this out, Cole. Correct me if I'm wrong, or let me know if I didn't get it correct, Robert. Robert's in the corner this weekend, man, and he gets a call from one of his partners, man, and says, hey, so-and-so's giving him instruction. He gets a call over the phone while he's working the corner. He just said, he told the other fighter, watch the right hand. So he was trying to give that instruction to Robert.
Oh, while they're watching the live feed.
Exactly. Robert, tell us about that text you got. I think my mic's going a little low.
That is true. I got a text telling me, you know, just giving you a heads up. Freddie Roach is telling him to throw the right hand. You know, it was, people that just want to help out. You know what I mean? We laugh about it and we clown him and we joke around it. But he's a good person. He's actually, I wasn't going to be in my phone at that time of the fight. But when I got that message, when I read the message after the fight, we laughed and we joke about it. But this guy, he's a friend of ours, and all he wanted to do was help out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the kind of love we get. That's the kind of love RGBA get.
Exactly. That's pretty badass, Cole. Can you imagine that? Like, I'm saying, hey, Cole, right now, watch out, because the other guy said, watch the left hook's coming. Right. And I'm calling you during the fight, man.
They've had that happen before on live UFC. Now that, it's live, but it's got a good 30-second delay, maybe. It's a couple seconds delay. Yeah. They've figured that out because they've had guys mic'd up in the corner, and they've had incidences where that come across.
But the love that they show,
to have somebody
the purpose to do that, that's willing to go to bat for you. They want to be a piece of it.
They want to see you win so badly.
I mean, they even want to see you look at your phone and say, "That's me."
Right? I just texted him, dude. He saw it. He got it.
Robert looked at my phone, man.
Robert looked at my text on TV.
Exactly, man.
No, I feel you. But like I said, that's the kind of support like Rob's talking about. The team brings, and the fan base follows the guys that he takes under his banner. That's why he says Robert just doesn't pick anybody. That's why he said if a manager calls him and says, hey, I got a guy, he's like, yeah, dude, I'll give him a look. Yeah, could be the next fucking superstar. I don't know.
Exactly. So,
that makes sense.
I'm just talking about. I mean, the guy is so popular. Wherever he goes, people want to audition for him.
I mean, given the pedigree of. Let me put it to you this way. You don't go into any job not expecting to excel to the far end of your job in your profession, right? So if you're going to go into something like boxing and you see a guy like Robert Garcia, Freddie Roach, or someone walking by, are you not going to take the opportunity to try to join?
Right.
Because you know what being part of that team leads to.
Exactly.
You know where it goes.
Exactly. And Robert, I mean, every day, man, I mean, it has to be flattering. I mean, when people come up to you and just give you the utmost respect and just want to be a part of Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, how has it changed you? And how do you prepare? Because now with the signing with Rick Merigium, I can see that career even blossoming and being exposed and going to the next chapter. Talk to us about that.
Look, it's awesome. You know, it's great to feel all that love and that support and people wanting to be part of the team and be part of something to do with RGBA. And now with Rick, it's just it's just going to get better and better, bro. Honestly, me doing stuff like that on my own, and yes, I've been able to get a few endorsements here and there, but Rick is just one of those guys that works hard for what he does, and what he's done with Jose and Central California and a few other local fighters that he's worked with in the past. It's unbelievable, and I seen all that, and now that he's part of my team, that's why I didn't even question bringing him in to be part of some of my fighters and myself. When Rick brought it up, I'm like, man, I do need somebody. Sometimes I do need somebody to be like the bad guy. You know what I mean? I can't be the bad
negotiator
guy with promoters, with other managers, with endorsements, with deals and stuff like that. I'm always a nice guy, but Rick could play that part. If he needs to be the bad guy, that's him. He's not a bad person. He's a great person. But in business, you do need somebody to be able to fight for you, and I think Rick is a perfect guy.
I agree with you, Cole. It's always good to have a badass shark floating around,
It is. It never hurts, especially in a business where you need someone like that.
That is incredible.
Exactly. And we talked about, when we call him a shark, we talk about he eats up every opportunity that's available, and he does, and you got to know that his cookie jar, there's no crumbs, because he used all the crumbs to use made spread with it or something.
Yeah, he doesn't waste anything.
He's going to utilize every single thing that you have, Robert.
Yes, I know that.
Exactly. And speaking of Rick, man, I talked to him earlier today, and he came up with this idea, and we're going to be talking about a certain thing that we had an opportunity of being able to continue to move forward in case, the coronavirus, in case you would have tested positive one more time, or because sometimes you'll test positive and then an hour later you'll test negative, and it's kind of up in the air sometimes. But I know you guys had a plan B in place, and we'll be discussing that later. Robert, I want to get to some of these questionnaires, man, because as soon as they found out, I posted it and I was getting messages and questions that first hour that it was up, man. So like I said earlier today, we're gonna go through some of these questions, man. So you ready, my man?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Okay, man, and we'll start it off this way. Okay, it's down to earth. Big Al from Main Events, Al Perez. He said, "You know what, man? Ask Robert Garcia. I want to know his favorite drunk story, man." Where you just had a few, and you were either dancing, or you called someone out, or you woke up in the back seat, or whatever the case, man. Al goes, "I want to listen to it, man."
You know what? I'm gonna tell you guys, and I'm not a big drinker, honestly. I'm not a big drinker. It's very, very rare when I drink. But a few years back, when Brandon Rios was still fighting, and that's one thing that I will never do again with any of my fighters, and drink together. But me and Brandon, there was a couple of times where we drank together, and we got drunk at a bar, and I'm not gonna I don't want to say what really happened, but there was a lot of crazy things that happened with me and Brandon being drunk. Brandon Rios, and if you guys know who Brandon Rios is, you knew it was fun. You knew it was fun because he's a character. That kid is a character, and it doesn't matter who he's with. You're always going to enjoy a great time with him. And being drunk, even better story, even better with Brandon Rios. But that's the last time I did something like that. You lose a lot. The fighters lose that. I'm not saying Brandon didn't respect me anymore, but he didn't. He seemed me like a friend and not like his trainer, and that's when we lost a lot of chemistry between each other. He wouldn't follow my instructions anymore because we became friends, and that was the mistake I did, and I'll never do it again to become that close to any of my fighters where we end up drinking and getting drunk together. But we did have some great moments when we were drunk with Brandon Rios.
Exactly. Brandon Rios don't even need to be drunk to have a good time. Cole, this guy's just, he's just...
Imagine being drunk with him.
Exactly. This guy's happy-go-lucky, man. I'll share one experience. We went down to Riverside and we're shooting the podcast. We're shooting. Good thing we weren't shooting live, but we still kept it in there. And Roberts, he's real serious. It was a serious conversation. Brandon Rios comes up from the side and grabs freaking Robert's balls in the middle of the segment. And you see Robert just kind of jump, and he's like, and then he just comes around the corner and he's laughing. I mean, he's just one of those dudes, man.
Team clown.
He's a good time, former world champion. He's a good-hearted dude, man. But yeah, maybe Brandon will tell me that story someday, Robert.
Right. We should.
Exactly. Well, this next question comment is coming from a promoter, Brittany Goosen. She was asked him if I'm still his favorite travel partner, because we traveled all over the world as a team, Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, along with some of the PVC family.
I love Brittany, and yeah, she's still my favorite, man. You know, it's so easy to work with her, and actually it's fun also. It's also fun, you know, being in the hotels, in the lobby, drinking a few beers together. We've always been, you know, great when we travel together. You know, I haven't been on PBC shows lately because, you know, PBC just started not too long ago with the shows, and Top Rank is the one that's been keeping my team a little bit busier than anybody else. So I've been more to Top Rank shows than anybody else, but I can't wait to get back to some of those PBC shows because Brittany is one of my favorites for sure.
Exactly. She was also our guest last night, her and Ray Flores, and we were talking about their calendar they had and all these big fights they got coming up, man. But no, cool people there. This next question is coming from Bernardo Osuna, decorated commentator all over the world, known all over the world for ESPN. It says, Robert, how did you prepare Jose Ramirez for these challenges? And how are you going to prepare him for Josh Taylor when Josh Taylor presents these challenges? Because he got the win against Postel, but it just needed to be more.
Look, this training camp for Postel wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because there was three full training camps with and it wasn't easy, you know.
It's a lot up and down.
The only thing that always kept me motivated, and I always reminded Jose was, Jose, we know this is tiring, we know this is frustrating, but Postol is going through the same thing. So it's not just you. Postol is going through the same thing. That's what motivated us and kept us going, because I'm telling you, there was times where I knew and I seen Jose's body, Jose's mentality, and he wasn't that excited anymore. You know, training since last November. For the February 1st fight, that canceled. Then training for the May date, that canceled. And then the August, it was 3 full training camps with, like I said, with hundreds of rounds of sparring against guys like Virgil Ortiz, Mikey Garcia. You know, it wasn't easy, you know.
That's brutal.
This training camp, he was sparring nothing but middleweights and super welterweights. Those guys are big, heavy, and strong. So it came to the point where he was tired. He was tired, and so was I. And he was frustrated, and so was I. But the only thing that I kept reminding him is, Postol is doing the same thing. He's going to do the same thing. So that kind of motivated him. But I think the worst thing for Jose was no fans in the fight. Jose is used to fighting around in front of 15,000 fans in Fresno.
Yes.
He's used to doing that, and this is the first time his wife, his mom, his dad, his brother, nobody could be in the arena. So that was a big hit also. Maybe not for Postol, but I know that it was a big hit for Jose, and that really affected also. So that had to do a lot with maybe not giving the best performance, but I'm also very, very happy that it happened in this fight.
Yes.
Because that's only going to make us better for the next one, and the next one is going to be the big one. That's the one that we need him to have a perfect performance, just like the one he had against Hooker. That's the same kind of training camp I need for his next fight, and I'm pretty sure we will get it because we already went through the bad one. We already did the bad one. I didn't want the Josh Taylor fight to be the bad one. We couldn't afford that. We already went through the bad training camps, the frustrations, the being tired, the body not responding anymore. We already went through that. Now for the judge testify, I know we're gonna be much better than he's ever been before.
You know, that's very well said, Co. And you know what? Jose Romero's made a statement. He's willing to go down to the UK to go grab those other 2 bouts and come back as the unified junior welterweight champion of the world, man. What's your thoughts on that, Robert?
Look, Jose already proved it. Jose said he wanted to unify the title, and the one that was available was Hooker. Hooker had his date with DAZN. Hooker had his place in his hometown to fight in his hometown. Jose wasn't afraid to go to his hometown. He wasn't afraid to go to the enemy, to the other promoter, and fight under the promotion. Jose told Rick, make that fight happen because that's the fight that I want. And Rick did his job and made that fight happen. Rick had to work his ass off to convince Top Rank to accept the fight. You guys don't even know how many phone calls I got from Paul Moretti, from Brad Goodman, from Todd DeBoff, from everybody working for Top Rank telling me, are you guys sure you want that fight? Are you guys sure we have a chance? You don't even, they had to ask me, Bob Barum called me and asked me, Robert, what are the chances we have in this fight? Is it like a 50-50 chance? And I knew the fight was tough. I knew it was more like a 50-50, but Rick told me, Robert, you have to tell them it's a 60-40 in our favor, or else they won't let us take the fight. So I had to tell Bob, look, Bob, we have a chance. I think it's 60-40 in our side, because they didn't want us to take that fight. You know, Rick worked his ass up to make that fight happen. That's why Jose said, if any of those welterweights that are, they want to fight so and so and they're cutting each other up, but none of those fights are happening, if they really wanted to fight, those fights would happen, because they just have to do what Jose did, is tell their manager, make that fucking fight happen, because I want it. And Jose did. Jose went to his hometown, he went to his network, and still won, make that fight happen, and won, in a very, very nice way.
Exactly. Cole, how important is that for a fighter when he calls out a certain fight that he really wants and is confident that he can perform to the highest level to get that fight?
It depends. No, go ahead, Rob.
Go ahead.
So I was going to say is that it kind of depends on what point in that fighter is at in his career. Is he going for legacy? Is he going for recognition? Is he going for just money? So it really depends, but it's when you find a fight that you want, like there's multiple reasons to it. He probably wanted to prove that he was better than Hooker. Hooker had a belt that was available at the time. Yeah. Jose wanted to start collecting belts. How do you get world recognition unless you start going around and collecting people's belts? I want yours. So when it's important to Jose's legacy and his career and his future, or for what he's trying to build by the time he gets to the end of his career, the Hooker fight and the collection of that belt was significant. So for a guy in Jose's position at that point, I would say it's probably really, really important. For somebody else who's not maybe at the stage collecting belts, maybe they're just trying to find tough opponents, maybe you wait. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that was the perfect time for him to go out and get that belt. Kind of like what Faber was doing back in the day. You're just going around collecting belts from the different groups. That's what Jose's doing. He's just going around and saying, I want your belt, I want your belt, I want your belt. So when he says he's going to go to the UK, it makes sense. But I can see Top Rank's concern, their fear.
You know what? Jose really don't got a nickname. Robert, we got to call him the belt collector, man.
No, Jose, we could come up with so many nicknames for Jose, because he's one of the hardest working guys. He's one of the guys, the one with the biggest heart inside the ring and outside of the ring. Also, he does so many good things for his community. He's just one of those few people in the world that could do so many things and help out so many people and be loved by everybody. He doesn't have a nickname. He doesn't need a nickname. He's Jose Ramirez, and that's his name, and that's what people are going to know him for. He doesn't need a nickname. Hell
yeah, that's what's up, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Damn, you got me fired up, man. I'm going to make this ring walk right now after talking to Robert. Shit. Hey, this next question is coming from Lee Samuels. He said, going into the Postel fight, were there any big tactical concerns? And when was the last time you were in the ring opposite Freddie Roach on the opposite corner? And were there any specific messages you gave Jose during the championship late rounds? From Hall of Famer Lee Samuels.
Walking into the ring, right right before the fight, I knew the last couple of weeks in our training camp were very difficult. Like I told you, because of the frustration, the hard work, all the runs of sparring. Jose's body was already tired. I was tired also. We were sick of it. So it wasn't easy. But like I told you, the only thing that kept us was Postol did the same thing. So we couldn't make up an excuse because Postol went through the same thing. But during the fight, I knew the fight wasn't easy. It was difficult. Postol boxed really good. They had a great game plan, and I told Jose in the last 3 rounds, look, Jose, we're going into the championship rounds, and please cannot afford to give away any rounds. You have to win these rounds, and you have to win them convincingly, because we don't know what the judges are looking at. We don't know what the scorecards are. So one judge had it a draw. Actually. Yeah. So that's why I needed to motivate Jose into doing whatever it takes to throw more punches and to win those rounds, because they were very important. And the scorecard showed it that the fight wasn't, it was close. So we had to win those last 3 rounds. And that's what I had to tell him the last couple of rounds. Last time I went in against Freddie Roach, I think it was with Jose also against Khetphet.
Yeah.
I think Jose against Khetphet, that was the last
Fresno.
time. With Freddie Roach, we've been, I believe it's 6 times against each other, and I've won 4, and he's beat me twice.
Very competitive when you got 2 world-class trainers there, Cole. I mean, you can close your eyes and say, okay, any trainer. But what I'm looking about is every trainer has their own personal relationship with their fighters, man. And we've said numerous times, no knock on any other trainer out there, man. But Robert's, it's family. And down at Wild Card, it's family also. And we need more high-class, world-class trainers as such. Now, Robert, I'm going to do my best acting job here. Period, man. I mean, this is coming from somebody, and this guy said, Richard, you got to do your best. He goes, Richard, if you pull this off, you're the goods. That's exactly the way he said, okay? I'm going to do my best here. This is coming from somebody from the West Coast, someone far from the West Coast. He wanted me to give you this message. Hey, yo, how you doing, Robbie? Okay, this guy's coming from the West Coast, and I'm gonna give you a hint. He's one of the best matchmakers in the world, and he said, Richard, you do this, you're the goods.
People from the East Coast that grew up, that live in the East Coast, that experience that and call me Robbie. But I know Brad is now in the West Coast, and he's the only one here in the West Coast that always calls me Robbie.
That's what he said. That's coming from Brad Goodman. And he goes, Richie, you do this, you're the goods. Exactly. And also, hey, man, this is what we're all waiting for. Escovedo's waiting for this. KP is waiting for this. The whole fighter's voice is waiting for this. But most of all, the whole world is waiting for this. This is coming from Viva Sean Gibbons. Tell Robert that I said the fight to make is the Senator Manny Pacquiao against Mikey Garcia. We are looking forward to this fight. And we're also looking forward to opening presents during that whole month, too. And I cannot wait for this coronavirus to be under control.
Look, we've had good conversations with Sean and Mikey. Mikey's been training, and we don't have anything official right now, but it looks like that's the fight that we all want. I know Sean and Manny, they want it also. Freddie Roach said it this weekend at the fight also, that he also wants that fight. So it's there. We just have to. We can't make it right now because of the COVID. There's this pandemic. But as soon as we get green light from any top promoter, I don't know, a big stadium where they could maybe put in some people. I don't know. From what I hear is the Cowboy Stadium is allowing fans. Maybe not as many, but they are. I think they're going to do some fights coming up there. They might allow some fans or Dubai or whatever. They also have interest.
Yeah.
So whenever something like that is available, then yeah, definitely more than happy to take it. But as of right now, there's nothing official, nothing really confirmed. But Sean Gibbons is, we've been friends for many years, and he knows that that's the fight to make.
Well, exactly. And you know who's also at the negotiation table is Woody himself, man. He's trying to make it happen himself.
I know he wants to make it happen. It's a big fight. It's probably, Manny, that's the biggest fight for Manny Pacquiao, and hopefully they're able to get it going. And if this pandemic slows, that we get green light, then it might happen sooner than later.
That'll be great, man. That'll be great. My man Eric Hernandez. Right, he said, kind of the same thing. He said, ask about Mikey and Manny Pacquiao, man, and ask about the future with you and Rick Morrigan, and also ask, when are you coming down to Northern California? Anything planned for Garcia Promotions in Northern California?
Well, look, right now, Eric, good friend of mine, and look, we had already been talking. We already had some of my fighters fighting in one of his shows, and I was going to do the same with his fighters in our shows here in Southern California. But this pandemic hit everybody really bad, and it's really hard right now to make shows with no fans. Especially the local promoters. Eric himself, Garcia Promotions here in San Bernardino. When you don't have a TV network backing you up, it's impossible to have shows because you don't have a crowd, and you don't make any money. So it's been really difficult. And the moment that this that we're able to bring in people into the shows, then we're gonna get back to doing shows. And yes, Northern California is one of our plans to go out there. People show us nothing but love over there. Yeah. So we would more than happy to team up with Eric and do shows in Northern California, because I know the shows that he does. They turn out very well, and
yes.
They get a lot of response from the local fans. So we would be more than happy to team up and do something together.
Shit, that shit ain't happening anytime soon.
No,
not with audiences. Fuck no. Newsom's just got it balls deep in us right now, man.
He does, man. We can get your take on that too. And you know what? On a side note, Robert, I mean, in Unsolved Mysteries, man, we're looking right now as we speak. He said, you know what? Ask Robert, man. Does he know where those gloves are? The gloves of Mayweather in Chino, man. Do you know where those gloves are right now? This is coming from Eric.
No idea, bro. Honestly, I really don't know.
Okay, well, he set it up like, okay, that you might know. He said, ask Robert where those gloves are, man. Okay, well, that's one of the last questions. Yeah, exactly. Like an OJ glove. When you drop it somewhere, it's a mystery, man. It's a freaking mystery. It is. Now, Regis Prograis said, congratulations to Team Ramirez, your winner of Postal. It seemed like there was a little bit of ring rust. I can't wait to see Ramirez and Josh Taylor. Congratulations to Team Ramirez. Congratulations to Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy.
Well, that's good for Regis. He's a great fighter. I've met him a few times, and he's a great person. I know he's getting back also. He wants to get back in the ring, and he's one of those fighters that'll fight the best. He's not afraid of anybody. He'll take a fight, so we definitely wish him the best also. And there's he's there in a weight division where a lot of fights could be made. So I have a lot of fighters too that could go against him, and as friends, and his manager, we're all in the same business, so there are huge fights to make.
No, exactly. And you know what? That's something that the whole world awaits, man, because Jose, I mean, he takes every opportunity that he has to fight the best fighters.
He's created the opportunities. Right. I don't even think he's taking them. I think he's creating them. People that he's fighting they're being given the opportunity to make a good chance to defend their belts.
When you got a thoroughbred and the thoroughbred is being trained properly, it's eating right, it's resting right, it's everybody knows about it because it's being promoted right. This team right here is one of the strongest, if not the best team right now as we speak in the sweet science of boxing. Given
the consistency that boxing's restricted to right now,
absolutely. Well, Robert, I was waiting for a certain guest to call, man, but I understand that, for the last 7 days leading up to this fight with Jose Ramirez, man, you were being tested every single day for 7 days in a row, my man.
Look, that's true. Look, it's I was there a week before the fight for one of my fighters, fight Biggie Rodriguez. You know, which he actually won the first round knockout. And but I got there Friday night. So once I got there, I tested. Then in the morning, they woke me up to tell me that my test was positive. So I guess I was actually, you know, man, it surprised me because it was I had already had like 6 negatives, and then I get this positive, and you know it was, you know, I'm like, I was worried about the following week, Jose's fight. Yeah. So they test me again that same Saturday morning. So I'm driving home already because they were not going to allow me in the fight. So I'm driving home, and Brad Jacobs calls me and he says, your second test was negative. I'm like, well, I'm already driving home, so I'm not going to go back. So then, in order for me to make it to Jose's fight, they had me test 2 more times during that weekend, Sunday and Monday, and those were negative also. Then they had me go to Vegas Tuesday morning, and I was staying at a hotel called Platinum Hotel. That's where I stayed all week until Friday night. I couldn't even be at the weigh-in, and I was testing every day. 7 negative tests until the day of the fight, when they told me that your last test was negative. That's when, you know, I was happy because I was able to make it to the fight.
Well, you had everything set there, but you were not going to be denied. Team Ramirez was not going to be denied, especially that collaboration with Team Meridian, who also made some phone calls of himself, and he said there's no way Jose is going to be denied the proper instructions coming from the man himself. So Rick Meridian got together with Dr. Batista. Together they put their heads together with Charles Trimley, who's now a doctor as well. And Robert, they were going to use a phone, if not an iPad, the first time in boxing history, the first time that it would have ever broke the news in the world, for you to give Jose Ramirez instructions by way of iPad if need be. And you were ready to go. No, exactly. The one and only, one of the forefathers of boxing let me know today, and Batista was scheduled to call, and you know, it was going to be a surprise guest. I don't know what the holdup is, man, but that's just itching right now because my phone's blowing up with other questions that were asking if it was true or not.
They were going to he was going to FaceTime
basically FaceTime him with an iPad.
Dude, that's smart.
And bro, that would have made boxing history.
That would have definitely made boxing history.
Ring Magazine didn't even know about that. Nobody knew about that. I mean, it was under wraps, so to speak, no pun intended, under hand wraps. Robert, you were not going to be denied.
Look, it's your story, Rick. That's one thing Rick told me. You know, before my last test, he says, "Look, Robert, I already went through all the rules, the Nevada Commission rules, and there's nothing that says we cannot use, you know, our phones or an iPad during the break, or even just some headphones, so Jose could hear my instructions." There's nothing in the rules book, but you know, if that's the case, we're gonna have to do that. And you know, he was prepared. He was already prepared with the laptops and everything for me to give instructions on during the minute breaks. It was crazy, but a lot of people thought, you know, everybody thought it was gonna be kind of crazy, but we were prepared to it, because if I wouldn't have been in the corner, you know, Jose had to hear my voice during the break.
Robert, do you know what you would have started had that happened? I mean, a revolution, man. It would have just blown up. I know someone's going to pick up this show, this idea, and just think of all the trainers who were unfortunately able to make that trip, but now they have that opportunity there. But you were about to make boxing history once again, Robert.
Look, now, if we think about it, the way we were planning on doing it, well, my friend that was actually texting me, telling me what Freddie Roach was telling Postos, well, it kind of made sense. You know, he was probably doing the same thing that we were planning on doing with Jose if I wasn't able to make the fight. So he could defend himself, saying, "Look, you guys were going to do it anyway." So I tried to do the same thing, just giving you a heads up of what was going on.
Cole, How crafty is that? How persistent is that?
That is just it's adaptation on the fly to necessity. Like Rick actually sat down and thought the idea through enough to do the research through the athletic commission.
He had Dr. Batista look into that, as well as Charles Tremblay played a role in that
trying
as
to
well.
make sure a plan B was there just in case, and that's what a lot of people don't see promoters doing, managerial teams doing.
We're talking about 1 week in of the signing of Robert Garcia signing with Rick Murigan, man.
Right.
I mean, 1 weekend the ink hasn't even dried yet of representing and just of good things to come. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty cool idea,
That's
though.
badass.
It'd be a first to have your cornerman videoing you. Like the next thing you would see is like your cornerman's like at the hospital because his wife's having a baby.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'll just FaceTime it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Push, honey. Push. Okay. I need you to lead with your jab and then slip it. No, not you, honey. Push.
Yeah.
So, I could just see that would be a first.
Exactly.
But to have the technology available and to have the foresight to go, look, we need a plan B. Rob's already out here.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong and he gets another positive or something somehow, we need to have a plan.
But this is my thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Robert. Going into this, another average trainer would have said, hey, if I test positive, I can't make that. Robert's stressing. He cannot have another one that says you're testing positive. I need to be there. My fighter needs me. Of all the times I have to be there to contribute, we got to make this happen. Robert, how much of a relief was it for you when you said, okay, you're in the bubble, we're ready to go?
Look, all week I was at the Platinum Hotel. I went prepared. Top Rank told me, look, we'll give you credit for $200 a day for you to go out and eat and find your food and stuff like that, because you cannot come to the MGM. I wasn't going to take no chances to be around anybody. So I took groceries from my house. I took groceries for the whole week. I didn't leave my room at all. I didn't leave my room. I was there, tired or frustrated, but I had to make that extra sacrifice just to try to avoid getting a positive test. So for the whole week, from Tuesday morning to Friday night, I did not leave my room at all. My room was please do not disturb, because not even housekeeping was going to be allowed in my room, because I wasn't going to take a chance.
Super bubble.
I heard that. But look what this trainer is willing to do, man. Not just for, the legacy. He knew what was on the line. He knew what was on the line.
He knows what's invested. He knows how much Jose is. Jose invested 3 fight camps in it. He knows how much Jose is invested. So to not take all those extra efforts, it's just not how he would treat his guys. Because they've done everything he's asked of them. So now it's like, well, I'm going to do everything I can to be there for them.
Yeah.
That's where that trust, like, you have to have the right circle of team around you and stuff. You can trust that Rob will always be there, and if not Rob, somebody else would have been there, and if not Rob on video.
Not Rob on video. Robert, you've always been a class act. Every time we go down to Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, man, you always welcome. You open your doors. I don't know what more to say is to show my gratitude towards you, man, because it's real talk. And a lot of people all say, well, Rich, how come you don't go to this gym and this gym? And I do. I just don't. I don't get the same kind of trust or just the housewarming that I get at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy. And every single time we went there, Cole. Last time we went there, I think Showtime was just leaving. They were wrapping it up, and then it was PBC. I think it was Fox. They were wrapping it up, and you never know who's going to walk in the gym. And I'm leading up to this question, Robert. When have you been surprised? We were saying, "Oh shit, look who's walking in the gym."
Look, I've had guys like Julio Cesar Chavez coming to my gym, Oscar De La Hoya, everybody, from Top Rank, they like to go to my gym just to see some sparring. But I was surprised when Dana White came into my gym. I never expected that man to walk into my gym. Even Floyd Mayweather came to my gym, and that wasn't too much of a surprise, because he was, he's a promoter, so he goes out there looking for fighters, and he wanted to talk to Mikey. He took 3 of my fighters, Saul Rodriguez and a couple other guys. So I wasn't it wasn't like a surprise for Mayweather to be there, but Dana White was a surprise. He was there for a full training session, and it was nice to have him there.
Was he just there to work out, or was he there scouting for guys?
Look, he was just, I don't train any MMA guys or anything. surprised. I'm telling you, I guess he just wanted to go check out boxing, and he wanted to go to one of the best gyms out there and see some real sparring, and he was able to see some real sparring there.
Was this wasn't any time by any chance around the time that Mayweather and McGregor fought, was it?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Was it around the same time that Conor and Mayweather fought?
I don't even know. I really don't recall. How long ago was that? Yeah, it was like maybe 4 years ago. So I really don't even know who was
same
fighting,
time
right? But yeah, he was there.
Well, because I could see Dana scouting gyms in California for Conor, because Conor's gonna have to fly over and train somewhere for a while. So
right.
I could see him doing that. But then again, Dana probably said, "Hey, I've heard nothing but good things about this academy. I'd love to go if I got the opportunity."
What if that would have been that, Robert? What if Conor would have said, "Hey, man, I need some world-class training"? How do you think that meeting would go, and what would take place? What would you ask of him, Conor McGregor?
One thing I wouldn't have done was lie to him, and I would have been real to him, and look, I wouldn't have made him believe. I wouldn't make him believe he had a chance to beat Mayweather.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a bullshitter and, oh man, you're looking so good and you're gonna beat Mayweather. There's no way, that was gonna happen. So, you're in there, let's get in shape, let's try to give a good performance. You're gonna make the most money any UFC guy has ever made. So this is he's since then he's he was already very popular. Since then he's become the richest man, one of the richest
Fighters, athletes,
UFC and boxers in the world. Even with just one fight. He's made more money than most
Hold on 1 second.
fighters have ever made.
Yeah, no, he far surpassed anyone on that.
I wouldn't have lied to him. I would have told him the truth. Let's go make some fucking real money.
Yeah, let's go put on the best show we can, and let's make you look good. Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want to no, go ahead, Robert.
What would I lie to him? Oh yeah, you got a good chance of beating him. When I know that's not a reality.
Right.
Hey, don't ask Robert a question if you don't want the truth, bro.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't lie to. I can't lie and make people believe something that's not gonna be realistic.
No, you can't. And Robert, I can't lie to you either. When I said Dr. Batista was going to be on the show, Dr. Batista was to be on the show. And welcome to the show, Dr. Batista. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast.
I'm really late, man. It's been busy in the offices.
You've been busy saving lives, huh?
Well, we've been trying to, man. We've been trying to.
You know what? We were talking about Robert, and we're going to relive this, Robert, on the research that was done with Team Meridian, Team Batista, Team Garcia, in order just in case Robert tested positive once again and was not able to physically be there for Jose Ramirez in the corner. How we went through some loopholes and just put our heads together. And how instructions would have been done after the research you conducted for Robert to give Jose Ramirez instruction by way of iPad. Talk to us about the research you did and how you quarterbacked this play.
Well, actually, it's not so much of a brilliant thought. It was more so of just, trusting in our basic science. So right now, when we send children to college or to school and they need to see if they've been vaccinated, so to speak, for measles, mumps, and rubella, or their tetanus, we look for a titer of their antibodies. And so, I knew after speaking to Mr. Garcia, first of all, shout out, man. I know you're from Oxnard. My family's from Santa Paula, the Oxnard area. And so when Rick called me, I said, hey, I knew that he'd be positive for those antibodies, meaning that he's already immune. In other words, he's not contagious.
Yeah. The
second thing is there is a difference between the PCR testing, right? The PCR testing, the rapid antigen. The PCR testing, although it can test positive for months, even after you're contagious, due to it tests for just viral particles, not necessarily viable particles, meaning ones that can get you contagious, but rather just particles. And the example that I always give is chlamydia. If someone has chlamydia, we treat it with antibiotics. They'll test, they'll be cured within a week, but they'll continue to test positive for about 8 weeks, 10 weeks. So even though, again, they're not contagious. So that was the first step. The second step in medicine, just due to not only COVID, but because of our lack of resources sometimes, us as physicians, require what are called computers on wheels or telemedicine. When someone's having a stroke, we'll put almost like in a FaceTime a physician on the camera, right? A neurologist can help us determine if this is a stroke and help us with our plan. So that's basically, I used, just my medical experience and said, hey, Robert, let me talk to somebody medical on the other board and explain to him, one, that, if we're going to discriminate later on who has had this vaccine or has had this virus and who hasn't, we need to go back to our basic sciences and look at, antibody courses and also the methodology of testing. And then secondly, if you can't get in there, what can we do to get, Robert's eyes and ears there in the fight without actually being there? We're in an age of technology and knowledge, man, and we have to be confident in our education, us as Americans, and saying, hey, man, we're intelligent people, man. We just got to use it,
Exactly. And you know what? That would have made boxing history, Dr. Batista. Robert, we talked about that, right? I mean, you said the story was true, and it is true. And just the doors that you've opened, just verbally letting the whole world know what was down for Plan B. What's your take on that, Robert?
Look, it was a brilliant idea. Rick brought it up, and at first I kind of laughed about it, but when I'm in my room and I'm by myself, and I still have one last test to take, and even though I've been negative for the last 6 days in a row, and I still got one more, and there's so many false positives also throughout all this testing. There's a lot of false positives, so if I would have had one of those, I would have been screwed. So at first, like I said, at first I laughed, but then, I'm there by myself thinking, I'm like, man, maybe that's the only thing that's going to work. If something goes wrong, we're going to do that, and it should work. We told Charles, Khetphet, Rick, everybody was aware that maybe that's what we're going to have to end up doing if this last test was to be positive. Luckily, everything went well, and we didn't have to do it, but we were prepared to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
The example I gave to Rick, I played a little football in college, and they do that now. The head coach has an offensive coordinator up in the box, and they're looking through with a camera. And in reality, Coach Garcia he's the offensive coordinator, man. He's the boss. So he's if we had to use him through telemedicine and through a FaceTime, I think that would have been different, probably different, Robert, right? But at least it was a backup plan,
Right.
You know what amazes me just right now, Cole? I mean, I'm looking at Team Ramirez and his staff. The dude got his own personal freaking doctor, man. Right. Not only that, Robert Garcia's boxing academy now got one of his own doctors, Dr. Batista's worldwide, man. I mean, it's like the fighter's voice, man. I got the best badass co-host in the world, and you guys know that, Escovedo, man. Everybody else is a fill-in, but nobody kicks ass like Cole. I'm just letting you know that right now.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Hey, appreciate you. And also, let me introduce Dr. Batista, who's one of our sponsors here at the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. And you know what? I'm looking at the picture that KP, our producer, just put up. Doesn't it have him looking like freaking Tito Ortiz right here?
Right? Yeah, I was going to say a little bit. For a second, I had to double take it.
I thought that's Tito. Look at the biceps on that dude, man.
The biceps, the chin up. Looks like he's hitting some strips. Right?
He's just not your regular doctor, man. I mean, he goes in there and just freaking... You know what? You need to get your ass down to Robert Garcia's boxing academy and get some rounds in.
Oh, man. No, not at 40 years old, man. I'm just trying to watch.
That's the perfect time to do it. That's the perfect time.
Man, Robert, you're fully staffed, man. All your fighters and Team Ramirez, Team Meridian, Team Garcia. I mean, you guys are opening up a chapter here in boxing like no other. And yet,
I can't believe what I have. It's unbelievable what this. My dad because my dad started a few years, 30, 40 years ago. It's unbelievable what we've accomplished and what we have right now. The team that we have, the people involved around my team, being able to work with every promoter in the world is just unbelievable. We've been blessed.
Yes, you have. And you know what? I've asked you that question before about a year and a half ago. Did you ever think when your father was working overtime, actually coming with his work clothes on, taking you to the gym, did he ever think in all his dreams that it would blossom the way it's blossoming today?
Never did we even dream of something like this. My dad, being a hardworking man, picking strawberries all day long, and then come to the gym to train me, Fernando, and the rest, and a lot of other young fighters. It was crazy because we were kids, you know. Fernando was 10 years old. I was 13 when we were training together, and we would never imagined anything like this. You know, it's unbelievable what, you know, my dad started. It just was something. It's a beautiful story.
It is. You know, Dr. Batista, when you were going to med school, man, and you're preparing for, you know, to take all these tests and just, you know, the heart and the corazon that you had to help people, did you ever imagine that, you know, you would be a personal doctor for world-class, premier, Hall of Fame trainers and fighters? Did you ever think that when you mentioned sports medicine in your career?
You know what, I think the answer people want to hear is no, I didn't imagine. But I actually did. I've always had, you know, high goals. My father,
right on, man.
Much like Coach Garcia there, he picked in the fields of Ventura County, but he always used to tell us, yes, our people, our raza comes from campesinos, but we also come from mathematicians. We also come from, you know, astrologists. And so, you know, I've always had those highs. So coming out of Columbia University in New York and then later on at Northwestern, I had high goals, and I knew one thing, you know, intelligence, there's a lot of intelligent people. And yeah, I did well in school, but it's the hard work, and that's what's bred in us. So with our hard work, with the talent that's out there, I really did. I said, no, we're going to take this to the new level. Mm-hmm. And my father, you know, obviously came across. He worked hard picking in the fields and became a physician as well. So I had to take it to a level above that, and I do that with 100% understanding that I'm privileged, but I'm not entitled. And so by recognizing that, yeah, my dad picked in the field so that I didn't have to. And so that way, you know, actually, when I got called by Rick, I was actually taking my kids camping. You know, we were doing taking some time off because I worked so much. But, you know, when something like this shows up, and if I remember, Robert, they actually said, "Oh man, it's done. We're done." I said, "No. You know, there's a young Mexican doctor from Fresno, man. We're gonna take care of this," because I knew, you know, that we could fix this a false positive that presented.
You know what, Robert? You know what, Dr. Batista, Cole? The first time in Fresno history, any radio station or any platform, brother, gentlemen, we are 2-0, because I'm talking to two badasses that just bitch slapped the coronavirus. Both of you guys did.
That's right.
I mean, think about it. I'm talking to two of them right here. Only on the fighter's voice, Cole, the only voice that matters. And like Dr. Batista and Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, we're simply knocking out the competition.
It's definitely it does give hope that, you know, having science on your side is a benefit as far as when it comes to working within the new realm of, like, with the boxing industry, the MMA industry, like being able to talk to guys, being able to have your manager go, look, I have a doctor that can talk to the athletic commission guy and go, look, can we talk about this subject real quick and see what we can sort out for our guy, because he's had 6 negatives and now a random positive. Go, let's be realistic here. Let's talk as doctors and colleagues. That having that on your management team is just, for your fight team, it's there's almost like a priceless kind of tone to it, just because you look at how much it paid off. So just having that availability is going to be an advantage right now.
You know what? There's some teams out there, man, boxing teams right there, and if they're watching the show, they have to be saying, I want what he has. Mm-hmm. I want that team. Yeah. I want that management team. I want that training team. I want that fighters team. I want that doctors team. How come I don't have a team like that? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're asking their managers and agents, how come I don't got my doctor? But where's my Dr. Batista? Where's my Robert Garcia? Mm-hmm. And how come I don't get to come on the fighter's voice? Right? Right?
Well, hey, if I could say one thing,
sure.
Quick, you know, I actually think, you know, and Robert, thank you as well. I mean, not only, you know, of course, you know, the science and Rick asking me to talk to the athletic commission about the medical issue, but what you guys are doing as athletes is actually giving people hope. So yes, do I take care of some athletes? Absolutely. But also half of my practice is dedicated to taking care of the poor and the elderly. And they love these fights, especially in what we're going through right now. It brings a lot of hope. It gets people together to watch something on TV, something great, the whole story that was presented on ESPN. So that's the least I can do. Robert Garcia and his team there, you know, for that moment, they brought hope to the United States, to campesinos, all the way from Oxnard up to Fresno. So that's the least we can do. I think it was our job to put this fight on top, make sure that everything went as planned. So it was actually my pleasure, man.
History in the making, man. I mean, Rick's always in the middle of that, and stirring up positive things. I mean, knocking out cancer, knocking out the shortage of water, and now if anybody was going to do it, I mean, Rick got his freaking hands around the coronavirus's neck, and he's wringing it out because he's bringing the best team around him. Not only that, and you gentlemen are the fighters. You're the fighters because you're fighting for that opportunity, fighting for a cure, and fighting to be heard, because I'm sure the athletic commission, they're probably thinking, okay, brother, no. But no, you said, no, we're not done yet. And you guys made it happen. And I hope there's people there. And exactly, you did bring hope. Because Robert could have packed it in and said, you know what, man, I'm just going to kind of chill right here. But he knew the importance of wanting to be there. Dr. Batista could have said, hey, Rick, I'm taking the family camping, man. He could have easily said that. But he knew what was at stake. He knew what he was called and born to do when he was taking that freaking doctrine test, you know? And it's only getting better, man.
Baby steps.
That's right.
Baby steps, man. You know, Dr. Batista, I'm going to let you ask the man, the myth, the legend a question yourself, man, because I know you're a boxing guru, man. So go ahead and shoot away and ask the Hall of Famer Robert Garcia what you're feeling about the sweet science of boxing.
Oh, man. Jeez, that put me on the spot, right? You know what, Robert? I think, obviously I'm a big fan of sports altogether. But for all these young kids that are coming out here boxing, one of the things that I try to push is the importance of continuing their education, right? Their nutrition. And would you, my background was in football, but wouldn't you say, or would you agree to tell these young kids that although boxing, the Jose Ramirez is a small percentage, but if they do well in school, it sets them up for a better platform. Would I be correct in saying that?
100% correct, doctor. That's one thing we always encourage our fighters, never to forget that school is the most important thing, because we've seen it with many world champions that, after their careers, they got nothing else to do, and the rest of their lives, most of them don't make a lot of money where they could live the rest of their life, and most of them find nothing else to do. So going back to school and picking up a career is the most important thing, 100%.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, Robert. You're a role model, man, for a lot of these young youth, because in reality, they don't want to listen to a nerdy doctor like me, man. They want to listen to you.
Thank you very much, doctor. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Batista, I'm going to let you get going, man. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and just sharing the platform with all the family, friends, and the followers, man. And we're a big supporter of Dr. Batista. We appreciate your sponsorship. We appreciate you as a man, and just appreciate you as a human being, and beating this virus and continue to just stay in the red zone and knowing what's at risk and what's there. But the most rewarding part in your career is just saving and helping people breathe clean air, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Well, thank you guys so much, and sorry to get on late, but
no,
that just means we're busy out here working.
hey, you were the grand finale, my man.
All right, guys. I'm looking forward. Thank you so much, and good luck with everything. Give me a call if you need me again.
Thanks, Doc.
I sure will.
Thank you, doctor.
I sure will.
You got it, guys. Take care.
All right. Robert, I know, you know what, you got to hold another camp, and you got some more fights coming up, man. I'm going to let Escovedo shoot away on a question, and then we got to drop some knowledge on some UFC, my man.
All right, Rob, so this goes back to that time where we were talking about Conor and how you would be honest with him and stuff. Would you, even though you were honest with him and he said, I'm going to do it anyway, given his let's just take him as a blank slate, complete blank slate, has no boxing experience with it, what would be the most important thing you would want him to focus on going in against not just a guy like Mayweather, but just going into that level of caliber of opponent, coming in from a zero boxing background? You're not going to be able to teach him the sweet science in a short single camp. What would you focus on specifically just to get him ready for a fight like that?
Just try to help him survive, the first 3 or 4 rounds, because, getting in there against a boxer with no boxing experience is not going to be easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people were looking at, saying that because he looked good in the first 5 or 6 rounds, but then after that, his arm cardio just disappeared. He just didn't have any more ability to keep his arms up as much anymore. is that something that, I don't know if you watched it or not, but that was something a lot of us saw going in, even just as MMA guys, we were looking at that going, well, yeah, because people are like, oh, he's winning the rounds. Like, well, yeah, he's winning the rounds, but Mayweather's going to drag this all the way out to a decision. He's going to try to knock him out at some point later, and then sure as shit, round 5 or 6, all of a sudden Conor's arms started getting tight. You can see him shaking him out and stuff. They just weren't used to carrying 16, plus you're not used to carrying 16-ounce gloves in his hands the whole time too. So he's carrying all that weight. So I would imagine for a guy like Rob at the level of academy, guys that they're training and stuff, they probably just wanted to work on real, like you said, just real basic stuff. Let's just get you through the first couple rounds. You got to try to do something in those first couple rounds, because if you don't do anything in those first couple rounds, you're not going to do anything the whole fight. No. So I would imagine just getting them prepped for those first couple rounds was probably key.
Sorry about that, man. We dropped, man.
I lost you guys. Yeah, sorry.
No,
see Robert, that's what happens when you juggle a tortilla and a Modelo at the same time, my man.
You only have 2 hands, man.
No, Robert, I mean, you know what, just having you on, man, and you know what, I want you to introduce your podcast, man, because it's really something that we look forward to listening on Sundays. It's honest boxing, it's professionalism, because if you want all the answers, man, tune in to Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy. What's it called, Unfiltered? Robert?
Yeah, Robert Garcia Unfiltered. We're doing it Sundays at 7 p.m. And, we just start boxing. My son and I, we give our opinions. Some people might not like it, or most of them love it, but a lot of them might not like it, because I'm being honest. I say how I feel about it. If there's a fight that I didn't like, I'm going to say that I didn't like it.
Robert, I'm laughing because I remember 2 weeks ago or three shows ago, Pita asked you, he goes, Dad, this question's in for it was a certain trainer. What do you think about a certain trainer being in so-and-so's corner? And you go, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I remember that, because he got me off guard, because it was a question that somebody asked. I'm like, first I wanted to say, I was thinking of something, positive, but I'm like, but it's unfiltered. This is how I feel, and I really don't care. I really don't care who he's training with, or who's training him. I really don't care. So that was my answer, and it was honest. Yeah, well, no, I mean, you didn't say I didn't care. It was unfiltered.
Very,
what you
very
said.
Direct.
It was. No, I appreciate your honesty, man. And, having you a regular here on The Fighter's Voice, man, we appreciate it. And you help us out in so many ways. And on a personal note, man, something that we discussed briefly, I look forward to you reading your email tomorrow, because I'll be sending you something in the morning, sir.
All right, bro.
All right, Robert.
I think we're getting cut off again. I couldn't hear that last part.
I said I look forward to working with. Okay.
No, yeah.
I want that one though. I want him to.
He's probably got
know.
bad signal on that one.
He does. It's that Modelo, man. I'll let him tell everybody bye.
Too many Modelos. Not enough doctors.
We got some stuff to cover. UFC too.
Oh, we do. We've got a couple of announcements that came out of this last week of news as far as MMA goes. We had a couple retirements. We had some possibilities for Jones at heavyweight that they're looking at. Yeah, I mean, if you want to jump into it, basically, we had two big retirements this last week. We had Cormier. DC officially retired. He officially. And
he doesn't need surgery, correct?
Yeah, it doesn't look like he needs surgery, but then that's definitely not the reason. Even if he did, but that wasn't the reason. He realizes that, hey, dude, I'm 41.
Yeah.
Every day that goes by, I'm getting a little slower. Every day that goes by, I'm getting
smart move though.
Yeah, so he's basically done everything he can do.
Yeah, exactly. Cole, what else does he need to do?
He doesn't need to do anything as far as prove it or anything like that.
And he has a dream job.
Yeah, he's going to have that dream job, but he's always, like I said, he's never going to fight again as far as he's concerned, but he's always, like I said, he's always going to be at AKA, he's always going to be training, he's always going to be getting the next Khabib ready, he's going to be helping get the next DC ready. Yeah. He's not going to be able to just walk away from that. So you got that retirement. Ray Borg from, I want to say, was it Bantam or flyweight, one of the two. I think it was bantamweight. He's always been having trouble making those weights. Mm-hmm. So this last one he had to try, but the UFC cut him loose from his contract, and so he was a free agent. He decided he was just going to retire instead. So he made that announcement official. So he's officially done too. So that's 2 retirements this week. We got an announcement for Usman and Burns. that was supposed to go down, but instead Burns tested positive, so they scrapped that one. That's going to be in December. I want to say UFC 256 is what they're shooting for that one. So like the mid-December is what they're shooting for, provided both dudes stay healthy. We got 2 stories from Masvidal. Nate Diaz and Masvidal are rumored to be negotiating for a fight in like January. They want to start. UFC wants to start their 2021 year off with them as like a headliner, which I don't know. I want to see my boy Nate get paid. I want to see my boy, Masvidal get paid. But at the same time, I've gone back and watched the fight again. I've gone back and looked at the stats. It's not like the only reason the fight got stopped was because of the doctor. Yes, but Masvidal was already 3 rounds deep. He was already on his way to a decision win. Whether it be a doctor stoppage, a ref stoppage, or a decision win, I didn't see. I love Nate. Don't get me wrong. I'm always going to watch a Nate Diaz fight. But I didn't see him winning that fight. So right now, I think there's a lot more guys at 170 for them especially for the UFC to make money off of having them fight. They all make money this way.
I agree with you. That's a bad style for Nate, and that's not taking anything away from him. Masvidal is just it was going the same way. It was exactly what you said, or possibly even a stoppage.
And that's what I'm saying. It was
because Nate wasn't going to tap it and he wasn't going to quit.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. Period.
So he's going to probably lose a decision there, I think, and maybe even get a TKO in like the end of the 4th or the 5th round when he's just too busy fucking with that split open on his face.
That was a bad cut.
Gamebred just starts landing that overhand right every time he goes to cover his face. So we know he's not going to quit, but I'd rather see Nate fight somebody at 170.
Who's a good fight for Nate right now?
Woodley, I don't think would be a bad fight. I'd like to see that. I think at 170 you can fight. I think you fight Woodley. Maybe Till. If Till's still around, I think that'd be a good guy because they're both tall guys, and I think they could both kind of slap box each other. Somebody that will give Nate an opportunity to show that he's still Nate Diaz.
Yeah,
that's just all it is.
I would love to see someone stand up with him.
I would like to see somebody that's not going to get
he's
smacked
great.
and,
He's great
and
on the
shoot.
ground, but I mean, he's entertaining. He's just
and then I don't know. I'd like to see Nate work on the boxing as far as slips, especially to that. So those southpaws. At this point, he's vulnerable to southpaws, similar to like how Nick was, and Nick had surgery to work on that to basically help prevent that. But as far as to southpaws, Nate's been already proven now multiple times with Cerrone and with the Conor rematch, and now with the Gamesbred one, that when it comes to southpaws, he's just wide open for that straight left, and it just seems to find a home, either it hooks or whatever. It just finds a home, and that's where all that scar tissue is coming from. So when the split happens, like I said, if that happened in like Texas or something, and not one of the other states, it would have been fucking fine. It was fine when he fought Edgar.
Well,
the same thing happened.
We've heard it from one of the officials himself. So
exactly. So it's state to state. So you've got the Masvidal rematch with the rumor on that. I just don't agree with it in the sense of I'd rather see him fight someone else. So Leon Edwards was like, hey, why don't you let me fight Masvidal? He already gave him the famous 3-piece and a fucking soda backstage. We've all seen it with his hands behind his back, and he was lightning fast. So I'd rather see Masvidal and Edwards square that away, because that paints it right there. They just play that fucking footage on the on the lead up to the fight, and that's all they need. That people will watch that. So, rankings wise, it's a little weird, but I have more.
That'd be a good fight to see.
It would be a good fight at 170. So it's not an entertainment fight. It's actually a good matchup based on where they both stand and the complexity of their relationship. So
what's the deal with Woodley in the video today? He's just iron sharpens iron, working out with him.
Yeah, it's just more of a you go where good guys are. I mean, you got to remember, for example, like guys like Covington, our American top team guys. You have a lot of guys that are still like certain teams that you just don't know. Like in the backwoods, they're still part of these same teams. So nobody really realizes that. So that's where you get a lot of these guys that talk shit on. So it's like so and so's never going to fight so and so. They're on the same fucking team. Like one guy would have to leave the team to some point. So the picture that the matchmakers, Joe Silva and stuff, try to make, sometimes it gets a little more colluded than people give them credit for.
You know what? I'm going to say something a little bit off the subject, man. I mean, when we get questions from fans for some of our guests, I already know, okay, man, really? I got to ask this question? But I don't want to deny the fan that was this question. And one of them was brother against brother, because two brothers were going at it on Twitter. And we know brothers would never lace it up with brothers. Does brothers fight each other? Absolutely. They fight for free. But there was no way they're going to enter the ring together and do it. So,
was he asking like the Diaz brothers fight each other?
No. It was Charlo brothers. Boxing.
Yeah.
And, Ray, being the commentator he is, he knows I'm asking the question per the fan. I mean, he's not really going, okay, dude, you're really going to ask me that? You know what I mean?
I mean, it depends.
I don't want to not ask that because the fan submitted it early today and was just animated about it. So I
you got to
asked the question.
consider, like, look at it from this perspective. Is it a viable scenario? Like, were they in the same weight class? Are they both active? At that point, who gives a fuck if they're brothers? Yeah. Like, that's a legit question, because at that point, who cares if they're brothers? You both stand to make a couple million off of a fight. You're going to fight it. Fuck, who cares? You're still going to be brothers after.
So you'd fight your brother. I know you would.
Fuck me, my brother, dude. We used to
fight for free.
We used to get drunk and fight each other for free, and all of his friends, they would get drunk and think it was a good idea. They're like, oh, dude, if we get him at once, we can get him. And I would always tell them, I can hear you, dumbasses. And no matter what, they would still think, like, 3 or 4 of us, right? No. Yeah. We all just got fucked up that night. That's all that would happen. So, but it, like, if one's in a different weight class, like, there has to be the right variable. So if they were both in different weight classes, one's active, one's not even active, different promoters, then I could say, you never ignore a fan's question, but you can say, hey, that question isn't going to really have any bearing. We're going to skip that question. We're going to get an answer that won't make any sense.
Exactly.
But if they were, like, in the same weight class and some variables like that, I'd be like, hey, like with the Diaz brothers, hey, you guys were both active at one time with Showtime and UFC and stuff. Did you guys ever consider that?
Rick could go after that.
Fuck yeah, they would do it.
Yeah,
I think they've even said before, they're like, "Winkle, fuck, you gonna fight us to pay each other? We fuck each other up in the gym all the time for free. You gonna pay us to do it on TV? Fuck yeah. Let that happen. Let that be the first MMA brother fight in fucking history, and the Diaz brothers would be the guys to do it.
Exactly.
So, but I'm all for Leon Edwards at 170 against Masvidal. I think that's a better fight.
I do. I want to see that.
That's got more implications to the weight class itself. There's more.
Can you imagine how much they're gonna freaking relive that footage?
I would. The
footage,
promotion monster that they are, absolutely. I would. So you've got that. We got Borg retired. Usman we covered. Brock Lesnar came back up in the UFC commentary world.
I saw that.
So what happened was they're talking about, we'd like to see, Lesnar and Jones fight at heavyweight, right? And Dana White was quoted saying, well, I wouldn't mind it, but he also backed it up with, bear in mind, I haven't talked to Brock in a year. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So a couple factors to that would be, the only reason Brock's coming up is, bear in mind, we understand this. The only fucking reason his name's coming up is because there's the failed negotiations with WWE. He is a free agent. Yeah. They could not come to terms. Now, does that mean they couldn't come to an agreement for what he wanted? Does that mean he didn't like what they offered? We don't know. That's a way different,
This if they're ever going to go back to WWE, this helps the negotiation.
It does.
Also, Bellator put their name in the hat. Do you see they offered him?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Bellator's thinking. They're going to blow their whole fucking wad on one guy for a bullshit fucking lackluster fight? Great. Who are you going to put him against?
They said the Emperor.
That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid.
Bellator has to make a statement. They got to make a move. They want to be relevant, whether it's stupid or not. They just got to make a PR move.
But that doesn't make you, putting a fight like that together doesn't make you relevant. Yeah. It makes you from a business standpoint dumb, because like I said, you're blowing all your fucking budget on 2 guys. Yeah. It's got a fight that nobody gives a fuck about. It's a circus fight at that point. If you want to be known for circus fights, cool. Do you want to be the joke fight organization? Go ahead.
Speaking of a fight getting ready to be announced, it hasn't been official yet, but Big Al Gonzalez is getting ready to come on the show with some fight news. And I said, once it's confirmed, then hey, let's bring you on and let's talk, because he's training and he's looking freaking shredded.
He's looking
freaking. I've never seen him look like that.
I was going to say, we've seen a couple of his fights and we've called a couple. He's never looked that fucking ripped.
No.
So this is what happens when Big Al gets time to fucking big train, is what happens. He gets fucking yoked. So, but speaking of yoke, like with Lesnar, even if it came to fruition, we're not going to see it for a year, because 6 months of that he has to be in the USADA testing pool for 6 months just to qualify to get relicensed.
And that could be very tricky.
It can be, given the sport he's coming from, where there's no restrictions whatsoever. Jones has tested before.
They call it marketing.
Yeah, this is marketing.
He looks good.
He looks like an action figure.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. You lost me when he coined the nickname for himself and he earned it with Dick Sword. I've lost. I mean, just no. I can't look at you at weigh-ins anymore and not see a fucking Dick Sword on your chest. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I like the way Robert said today, man. He's Jose Ramirez. He don't need a damn nickname.
I kind of was thinking a little bit about that as we were sitting down talking with Batista and stuff. He's right. I mean, it's just you mentioned the name Jose Ramirez and somebody knows him from somewhere. They're not automatically going to go boxing. They go, oh, he was talking to our field guys the other day, or he came out to our school, or he came out and did this I was there when he was talking to city council. So that's That's why I think it matters so much that he doesn't have a nickname like that. That's why I think it makes sense that he doesn't, because he's just Jose Ramirez.
Yes.
He's going to, like I said, he's going to finish boxing. He's going to move on to politics.
Yeah.
I'll be fucking flabbergasted. I'll be so bamboozled if after Jose's boxing career is done and he decides, okay, I've done everything I can do in that. I've built such a notoriety and such a network that it would be silly to not spend it on politics now, where I can actually do something. I have such a voice. I have such a following. People will pretty much not do what he says, but he's built such a rapport of trust that they're like, we need someone to speak for us. You're the perfect guy, because everybody loves Jose already.
He's not just a face on the poster. He's
Exactly.
not just a prop. He really. Hold on a second before I sign this. I want to look into this and look at here. Make sure we have this here, and I mean, he knows exactly.
Make sure you
what he's
follow
talking
up
about.
on this and make sure they don't screw those guys. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. And you know what? He tweeted something the other day. No, it was on Instagram, and I felt good. Because after all the training, all the championship fights, after everything, there was a picture of him, a video of him. He was feeling good, and he was just dancing to some music.
Just kind of vibing.
Yeah, just kind of as if to say, okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro.
I can freaking breathe now.
Such
I
a
can move
release.
forward. Exactly.
3 fight camps. You don't understand? That's 2 fight camps that the dog didn't get to bite. That's... You could ruin
25
like a
years
dog.
old and is a spokesman not only for the Mexicanos around here, but for the water, but for the coronavirus, the father, and all these. Okay, yes, he's doing great financially, but all these promotion teams, all these sponsors, all it takes is one left hook, and that's all gone. And he has to be at his A game every single time, and the legacy that he's chasing, his dad's business, and the whole team. That's all on his shoulders for 25 years old.
I think at this point he's built such. I wouldn't call it an empire, but he's built such an image. He's built this up so much. I think he could honestly, and this isn't me saying, I hope Ramirez stays undefeated forever.
Yeah.
But this is the realization. I think he could take that a left hook and not lose all of that. I think that there would be such a strong belief in him that they're like, look, everyone loses.
I'm talking about the left hook of life.
No, that's what I'm
for
saying.
25 years old. Because the only thing is, he is human. But as far as mentally strength, yeah, absolutely. He's very mentally strong, especially when he can take his phone and just put it off to the side and not worry who's texting, who's yes, who likes, who don't. Because a lot of people, they're obsessed with that. He can just, okay, it's off.
Yeah, well, it's... At that stage of his career, he kind of has to be.
I'm just happy the guy was able to breathe, man. Great guy, great for the community, and great for the sport. You know what, Cole? We made history today, man. I mean, I didn't think about it till then. We had 2 active people that just beat the shit out of the coronavirus. They had it, and they knocked it out. They don't have it anymore. And to come on together. Think about it, man.
I guess I don't really... I'm uneducated as to what the hell the facts are anymore about all this
man,
shit. So
I just I don't need to get all deep into it, but it is what it is. And I'm not saying that to boast or anything. Just to have 2 people that are fighting, not
like
just
I said, it helps
literally.
to have science on their
Absolutely.
side. That's like going into a traffic court with a fucking dash cam inside your car that shows you had your seatbelt on when you got pulled over. Here you go, Your Honor. Facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what other platform are you going to put a doctor and a trainer, and then
At that level.
and just for Dr. Batista to, hey, grant that question on the air. It's recorded, and it was there. We gave him an opportunity only on the fighter's voice, man.
Hey, we do a lot of firsts on this show.
Oh, we have.
Lots of firsts. That ends up being like seconds and thirds.
A lot of world champions come on here that were not the favorite to win the belt.
Underdogs that end up just snatching a little glory.
Like 6 belts in one time.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of belts.
McCatskill, man. Jessica, man. I mean, she literally just 6 belts, man.
Yeah, with like, what was it? What'd she do it in? Like 1 round, 2 or 3 rounds?
No. It went the distance.
Oh, it went the
distance.
But she ended up snaking them all.
Yeah. Well, she beat an undefeated fighter that was getting ready to set a record of her legacy of title defenses.
Yeah. Shut that shit down.
Yeah, exactly.
So what
Exactly.
do you think's next for Pistol? Where do you think he goes from here? Because he didn't get his ass kicked. I heard a lot of people that watched that fight. They were like,
he really doesn't. I mean, he went the distance with Bud Crawford. He's just a difficult fighter to fight.
Finish.
Yeah, yes, and I'd hate for him to be the one that you were just in a different era where you fought for the bout, but you just couldn't really get over it.
Fell into next generation gatekeeper status for the next guys.
Exactly. I wanted to hear the interview with Freddie Roach. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I really did, and.
It can't be it can't. I mean, when you lose against a guy like Jose Ramirez, I don't think it's a step backwards for sure.
I think he'll get another shot once the winner of Jose and Josh Taylor vacate, because once they fight each other, they're not staying at 140s. The money and the opportunities at 147, and the legacies at 147. I mean, to jump up with the bigger names and the bigger guys. So I think he will. Those 4 bouts that it took all these years to put together, they're all going to go here, and here, and therefore I think he'll get another shot, another opportunity.
Eventually work his way up the roadmap again through a different course. Well, that's why like Jones is going to heavyweight. Like there's more opportunity. Like right now, being the light heavyweight champ, he's done everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, he did have 2 really close decisions that made him look human. So maybe he's thinking, maybe it's time to go up so I can hit harder and start, maybe finish guys better. Because I think I agree with him. And
actually be more challenged.
Yeah,
challenge.
There would be more challenge, but I think the challenge would be on himself more to see if he made the right decision. Because his statement was, both my brothers, they're big football players. We're just naturally big dudes. So, and he said that he feels he's been holding himself back by staying at light heavyweight. And I can understand. Israel's like, go fight Francis, watch him fucking break you. I don't think that'll happen. I think, like somebody said it earlier, like Jones is going to like fall out of the light for a couple months.
He's going to use all his tactics, his smarts, his wits. He ain't going to go in there freaking trading with that big monster.
Oh, no, I think he will. But I think he's going to disappear for a couple months. I think he will. And then all of a sudden Jones is going to show up. And he's going to come back and he's going to look like a fucking monster. And everybody's like, what the fuck happened to Jones? Somebody stung him with a bee. What happened? But it's going to be that he stopped fighting the weight. Like he stopped fighting off and he started hits more weights. Like I said, when Conor got to go up to 170 the first time against Nate for that initial fight, he looked slow, sluggish. Didn't give himself the right time to adapt. The second fight,
he just didn't weight cut.
Exactly. The second fight, the Cerrone fight, he was moving and grooving. He was fucking fast. So we're going to see Jones is going to take that time to get used to the weight because he's going to go up now.
It was no longer a backpack. It was the weight was fluent through his body.
Exactly. It was like a natural flow now at 170 for Conor. So I think at heavyweight, Jones, I agree with him. When both your other brothers are fucking football players and they're big dudes, what are you doing holding yourself back?
We're going to have on the show, next Wednesday, it's all yours. I go in for my right knee, so I'll be here Tuesday.
Cool. We're going to knock that out finally.
Yeah, got to knock that out. Schedule. But you know who we're going to have on the show, man? I think it's going to be fun, is Don, the fighter's voice with Don McGuire.
Oh, okay.
He's going to come on the show, and he actually gave me a call because there's some people in Fresno that are just like, they're not too happy with what we're doing. They got a podcast too. Maybe they asked to be on the show and it just wasn't the right time. And they had some feedback. And being the brother he is, they said, you know what, man, I'll either put him on blast on your show or any of that. And I said, no, we don't need to go there. But no, you can come on the show and let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk. And he has some great stories to tell.
I mean, you could see the thing. You're going to be doing something that somebody else wants to do. And if they think you're doing it better, they're going to have negative things to say. That's just the way anything goes. You get some up and coming quarterback, you get some up and coming fighter. That's just the nature of the beast. So it's why
I reached out to them to try to help them because they asked, but then they wanted the secrets. And KP goes, oh no, fuck no, Because they go, hey, what are you guys using and what are you guys doing? KP goes,
Can't give away secrets. That's
KP goes, nah.
Trade. That's like trade secrets, man. That's
KP goes, nah.
If you ask Tom Brady, hey man, how do you always hit that bootleg? He's like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Just figure it out.
I'm fucking Tom Brady. I got 5 rings.
Can I have your Rolodex? No, you worked so hard to get it. Your trust
as like an agent or a realtor or something. It's like, hey, let me see the Rolodex of the last 5 people you sold houses. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
I'm always down to help someone grow and everything. And like, hey, you want to do this? Here's some tips. Here's some advice. Hey, this guy's doing. But I'm not. It's like, hey, but if you want to know how to do it, it's gonna be trial and error.
Hands-on. Yeah, exactly.
You got to get hands on and learn what works. Because what we do, we could do. If somebody came and said, oh, what do you guys do? Fuck you, sure, we'll tell you. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It may not work for you, and you may fuck it up, or it just may not work for what you're trying to sell. Like you don't serve shots of whiskey in an IPA bar. It's tap brews. Nobody wants.
Did you see the bar KP put together?
The final, the one he was showing us last week, the final set. Yeah, that was pretty titties, dude. Dang. So so if you want to have a bar scene,
he has a waitress in there now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's starting to progress.
Nice, like a background waitress.
No, the lights she moves.
Oh, okay.
Obi-Wan, I've been waiting for you. You're my only hope.
I was Obi-Wan, I've been waiting for you. Come on, rolling up to you.
You're my only hope.
Wow.
When they kept playing it?
I'd be down for that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
A little bar, like a little Star Wars cantina going on.
Yeah, that's what he has in there,
dude,
man.
He did it fast, too.
Dude, can you imagine you went in there, it was like freaking Star Wars in there? And those freaking, you know what, those characters are just one of those fantasy rooms, and not fantasy rooms, but just just like characters came to life in there.
There'd be a fucking lawyer in there in a week. I represent Star Wars and Disney, sir. This is a cease and desist letter of all this. Like, people like, damn, bro, I posted it like 2 hours ago.
I mean, if Jim Carrey was in there and just in 4 different characters, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess you would see that after taking a couple shots of Patron.
You would. You'd see all the fun stuff on the wall. It'd be like one of those find the hidden pictures in the background type thing. But if there's something, like, I don't know, dude. I don't really give a shit when
Brittany
people have
Goosen
bad
told me
things
to tell
to
you
say.
hi.
Who?
Brittany Goosen told me to tell you
hi.
Your
Cool.
co-host, she shared our stuff. Her and we want to thank Ray Flores and Brittany Goosen, man, because they didn't just accept, okay, I'll be on the Fighter's Voice. They got it. They shared it. They tagged, and the who's who were viewing in, and appreciate that. They appreciate and like what we do here, and we like what they're doing for boxing, man.
Nice. It's like I said, it's symbiotic stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, dude. Whoever's hating, fucking suck it up, Buttercup. I don't know.
I'll tell you off air, and you're gonna go, what?
I'm not gonna be surprised. Because here's the thing: is if someone's out there and is just hating on our stuff, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Go do your own shit. Mm-hmm. You don't like what we're doing, go do your own shit. I don't really give a fuck what your opinion is. As far as like, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is if you don't like what we're doing. We care about the people that are watching.
Yeah.
If you don't like it and you say we're doing it bad or whatever, cool, great. Go do your own shit. Mm-hmm. You crying to me makes you look like a little girl. I really don't care. You want to talk, come tell us in person, because then I'm going to want to hear what your negativity is.
Yeah.
Other than that, dude, your opinion is that of a child. I don't care.
Exactly.
So we'll help people grow, but we can't give away trade secrets.
No.
That's just the way it is. You have to, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not because we want to be selfish. It's because it might not work for you.
As you go through it, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, we had to.
Exactly.
We had to find out what does, what doesn't work. We're not going to, like, okay, say, Pardon the Interruption, for example, that show. Yeah. On ESPN. Like, I love the way they do their segment.
Yeah.
We could try it. That doesn't mean it's going to work for us. It might work for those dudes just because that's the way they work together.
Well, there's even shows out here that, and I don't own the phrase, the man, the myth, the legend. But when people say that and that's not even their character, I mean, like I said, hey, I'm going to do my best acting job on this. And I try to get, and it was far-fetched.
And that's why I was so confused about the West Coast thing. I was like, that sounds like an East Coast accent.
No, well, actually, what did we put here? It was what is it? Where's Brad?
Someone from the West Coast said this.
No, it was from, did I say West Coast?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. That's why I was but that's what gave it away. That's what gave it away to Garcia.
Somebody put West Coast and it wasn't supposed to be West Coast.
Well, isn't Brad out here now?
Oh my God!
Isn't he out here now?
He's East Coast, man.
Well, yeah, but didn't Rob say that he's out here now, and that's why it made sense?
Well, he's in Vegas, but originally,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so Rob was like, that's why he gave it away because he was like,
Robbie, hey, how you doing?
He picked up on the accent. He's like, well, nobody on the fucking West Coast sounds like that.
He started loud. He goes, ain't no Mexicano sound.
Right?
Like that.
He's like, that fucking narrows it down to a couple gringos. Let me think real quick.
And see, when I talked to Brad today, there's either two things that happen. He's going to chew my ass off. He goes, hey, Richie, how you doing? He goes, if you hit this, you're the goods.
Yeah, right? You got to sell it. You got to sell it solid. That's why I was super confused. I was like, that's an East Coast accent.
Yeah.
Somebody had to have moved.
I go, I got a question for you. He goes, you got a question for me? I go, I got a question for you. You got a question for me? I go, I got a question for you. You got a question?
It's like he wants to play that who's on first, who's on second fucking game with you.
He was in a good mood, as opposed to, it's fucking boxing week, man.
Right.
And you're going to come to me?
Right. Hey, if you can catch a promoter in a good mood or a matchmaker in a good mood,
he keeps, and then he goes like this. He goes, look, man, you like steak? Is there Uber around you, man? I've been singing your family a steak, man. We're gonna have steak together, Richie. I didn't mean that, but fucking boxers pulling out and shit, and he's just like, hey, man, I'm sorry,
Flemings has DoorDash. That's what you should have told him. Flemings has DoorDash.
He's a good dude, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like, you got to take advantage of those scenarios because you get high. Like, dude, we've called Luke Howe, we've called Richard Goodman before, and Jeremy's just like, yeah, bro, look. Real quick, I'm super fucking busy. To make it quick. No, real quick. That's it. So you got to understand that, like, they're just trying to do they're hustlers. They're doing their job, man. They're making shit happen. You're not always going to catch them in the best mood. So when you do, you got to take full advantage. Go, this guy's fucking happy right now. Hey, about that guy. How about that debut guy? Can I get that guy in your car too? Yeah. You know, that's where you slide that shit in. So
absolutely. Well, we slid something in yesterday. We asked about getting Deontay Wilder on the show, and she goes, when he does, we'll make that happen.
It'd be cool. We'll I would love to be able to.
Don't ask him about the suit.
I'm fucking gonna ask him. I would. Not in the sense of, hey, do you feel dumb or anything? Like, what were you What was the concept behind it? What were you guys shooting for?
How heavy really was it?
How heavy did it really feel? Like, where do you feel it went wrong? Like, I want to hear what his thought is, because he may say, well, honestly, I felt it.
And when you ask him that, that'll be a great time when KP puts in there, that part of Connor, meow, 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 meow.
right? I mean, he's probably been asked that a million fucking times by now, too.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to hear his genuine thought on, like, where do you think it went wrong? Like, someone fucked up somewhere.
Yeah.
You say it made your leg shaky. I can understand that, but where do you think the mistake was made?
Because the first fight was so close as far as, I thought he lost a lot of rounds by being outboxed, but he was just, outmaneuvered and outbullied and out... he was being bullied that fight, and like Ray said, he goes, man, why do people want to judge after one freaking loss? They think their whole career is completely over.
They negate everything you've done before.
Because they look like Superman for 30 fights, and for one fight, you want to say they're freaking Clark Kent.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why people are pointing out the fact that Jones won a decision against two guys that made him look really human.
Yeah,
and one guy was hurt.
Yeah,
and he couldn't finish him. Now Jones says, at that point, I was just going to decide just to win the fight. I wasn't going to try to beat him. What the fuck are you talking about? What? No. You go in the finish. No. You didn't do it because the dude was still fucking dangerous and he was hurt. And he had nothing to lose.
And he
was
more dangerous because his back was against the wall.
Exactly. What's going to happen? His knee's blown out.
Yeah.
He'll jump kick you in the fucking head and go for a highlight reel knockout if he thinks it'll work. And he lands on a knee and bends it, breaks it. So fucking what? If he clipped you and broke his layout, dude, he'd be fucking superstar forever. The guy that jump kicked Jones and won. Like, come on. So I think that's got something to do with it too. Not that he thinks he's gonna lose, but that he's like, okay, I'm hindering myself. If I want to be top dog, which is heavyweight, I'm gonna go and be top dog and just see what happens.
Two people in a row, two guests that we had said, I reach for the stars, meaning them. We had Ray Flores that says, hey, I reach for the stars, so to speak, and so did Dr. Batista.
That's why when he said he wasn't surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
He had expectations for himself.
Exactly, and that's been, I've been thinking about that this whole week, and we put together a nice letter and a nice proposal, man, and we're reaching for the stars. It'll be sent out in the morning, and that's how we realize where we're at in growth. You got to take those risks.
Is it shaped like a heart? Is that who it's going to? Remember that thing? Remember that thing we talked about? It was. We'll talk after. We'll talk after. Yeah. It was it was a slot. Yeah, that was one of. Okay, so this is something separate from that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that, man. That's all we have. And you know what? I'm not sure who we have Tuesday, but okay. Mike Rodriguez yesterday, I had a conversation with him late last night too. He said, hey, call me as soon as you can. Boom. So he says, I'm going to call him. He says, I like what you're doing. The last guest that you had, man. He goes, keep that status. Keep going what you're doing. He goes, Cole's irreplaceable. Keep doing what you're doing. He goes, Richard, you guys keep doing what you're doing. People are taking note. So,
good.
So I appreciate that. Yeah.
You said that long ago. Consistency of product is key. That's just takes time.
No, it does. An opportunity, man. So
That's what every smart mouth guy's answer always get. Nobody or an opportunity.
That's it, man.
That's it. That's all there is. If you don't take advantage of it, cool. Breathe the air, but you want to give the opportunity over here, go ahead. I can hold my breath for a little while. Give me the opportunity.
Exactly. Ray Flores said, answer your phone every single time because you never know what opportunity is going to be on that phone.
Yeah.
They're not all bill collectors.
Could be fucking De La Hoya from his line calling you and being like, hey, Rich, I really wanted to get on your show and talk about this.
It could be, even if it's a friend, hey, I didn't want to give your number out, but fucking some bald guy that works for UFC wanted your number. So it's either Rick or Dana, one of the two. Sure the hell ain't Pet Bull, you know what I mean? Or it's Vin Diesel.
But that's what I liked about Rob said that the biggest thing that surprised him was watching Dana White walk in. That would surprise the shit out of me because I mean, that's why I asked. I was like, he had to be there scouting. Like he had to be looking at strikers. I mean, it's a boxing gym, but I'm thinking more like Dana was there scouting strikers.
And he was being humble. He's worked with some MMA guys before. Yeah,
but I could see Dana going there and going, I want to say because we can teach any one of these good motherfuckers how to sprawl. We have the facilities.
But I like what Robert said. He goes. He came into a badass gym looking for some some badass people. So
And Dana's got a decent background from Boston in boxing, so he knows who the fuck is who. He's high enough level to go. He knows goddamn well whose academy gym he walked into. Like he knows he walked into Rob Garcia. He did that on purpose.
Exactly.
He wasn't just there to test it at the facility and check it out. He was there to fucking scout. And at that point, he was probably talking to somebody about boxing and wanted to see. I guarantee you, dude, he was talking to somebody about something in boxing, and he was scouting different gyms in California for someone or for a show.
Maybe he was going to put on a show, and in this corner it was going to be this trainer.
Possibly.
And in this corner it was going to be this trainer. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they did one? I mean,
Where it's got to do with that
Wild card versus
Mayweather.
Robert Garcia Boxing Academy.
See,
in LA.
I couldn't see them doing that. Just because I don't see Dana White putting on boxing
But
stuff.
but they've already went heads up before.
Yeah, but I could see him helping with like.
I think he went in there since De La Hoya was messing with some MMA stuff. I'm going to go messing in your world. Bro, he really does. He dislikes that man.
No, I know he does. But the thing is, it's easy for him to dislike him because he's top king in his world, and he knows for the fact that De La Hoya is not top king in his
Who
world.
knows, man? But we do know. Dana White walked in there to see some badass boxing, badass promotion, and some
he was there
badass
for he was scouting something.
Absolutely,
scouting something.
Absolutely, and he's only going to deal with the best.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was when he was talking to Mayweather about that cross promotion they were talking about doing. He's like, I'm going to need a gym for these guys that we're going to use to train out of weather in California.
Yes.
He's like I said, Dana doesn't just walk into a gym like
Robert
Garcia's academy.
said, hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to get knocked the fuck out, but we're going to try to not get knocked out
I would
early.
love to see him have that conversation with Conor.
Bro,
He's like, you're going to get fucked up.
He's sort of laughing because he knew. Don't ask him a question because he's going to tell you the truth.
What's funny is Conor probably would have listened to him too.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, you let me fucking worry about what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
Just get my fucking hands ready.
Yeah.
So, but Conor would respect that level of honesty.
He would have said, give me any Mexican in here. Robert said, that's all I got.
That's all I got. Pick one.
Yeah, pick one. Pick Mikey. Pick
Yeah.
Jose.
You know what I got? Mikey, come here. I got the perfect guy for you. Mikey will go nice on you. Mikey, fuck him up.
He would.
But that would be, but Conor would love it. Conor would be like, yeah, I get tested every day at the gym. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him at all, man.
Lots of potential though.
No. If you ain't got anything, hey.
No, that's it, man. We had the Cormier and the Borg retirement. We had the Lesnar thing, which, like I said, Dana White said he hasn't talked to him in a fucking year. But if he called, he would humor the idea. I don't see Jones versus Lesnar just because that's a circus fucking fight too. What's the point of that fight? There's literally does nothing to your rankings. That does nothing for your heavyweight division. That does nothing for that picture. All that does is you're going to get the wrestling fans will watch. Maybe the Jones
I tell you
fans
what
will
I am.
watch.
I tell you what I am looking forward to before we cut off air is going down to Sacramento, making that happen, making that work. Because I started thinking, I don't want to do a drive. This is one opportunity. I mean, his biggest fight ever in his freaking career. It'd be good if we can get some great content down there, man. Maybe shoot the show
for
down
Blake?
there. Yeah,
we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Well, good. I'm
You come up with whatever, bro.
Okay.
You come up with whatever you want to do with him, and we'll probably have to go up there to do it.
Yeah.
But we have full access.
Okay.
Let's leave it at that. We have full fucking access. Blake's down for anything.
I want to be
that
able to
isn't
see if we can even
complicated
get a room because, bro, they got some rule here in Fresno. They won't give you a room if you're from Fresno. They only, bro, because of this coronavirus stuff. They only give it to like people from out of town.
Tell them you're from Madera.
Yeah, from Madtown, fool.
Tell them you're from somewhere that's like on the purple, less than the purple scale of whatever they're fucking using.
I don't know, man. Mr. Escovedo, ladies and gentlemen, the UFC veteran. Hey, he's going to be rocking the show solo September 9th. I don't know what's going to happen. I know it's going to be awesome. He's going to just book the whole show and just run with it and have a great time. Rich Ortiz, I'll see you Tuesday on the Fighter's Voice. Knockout podcast, kick-ass podcast, everywhere. It's just a podcast because we kick a lot of ass. Hey, it's a wrap here. Fresno, California. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.